in Ukraine, and this part of the defense attorney representing Lori Vallow Daybell says an employee at the Idaho State Hospital is using the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to manipulate a potential death penalty case.
For about the past 4 months, Lori Vallow has been in the custody of the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare.
She describes hearing her stepfather argue with her mother and the man police say shot and killed him.
And tonight we are unraveling more information about Lori Vallow, her new husband Chad Daybell, and her other extended family members.
It's a complicated web and issue, and a number of characters are involved in and around it.
Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers? That's great. That's great that they're praying for you.
Who's the friend he's with?
My friend Melanie. Her son has autism. Her name's Melanie. I gave him all the information. And I will always.
I appreciate those words, but if you really loved me, you wouldn't have told the police that I had JJ with me.
One of my brothers is trying to kill me. Not the brother that lives here, obviously. He's kind of my protector.
What she said there.
Okay, that's not a threat to kill you.
Describe can you describe for the court what drew your attention?
The amount of duct tape that was covering the body.
Okay. Where was that duct tape located?
On the morning of June 20th, 2020, police would make a startling discovery on a large piece of property owned by a man named Chad Daybell. Police would find the answer to a question many friends, family members, and even complete strangers had been asking for months. Where is Tylee and JJ? There are many key factors contributing to the case that will be presented before you today. So much so that the original judge would remove himself from the overall ruling.
Motion on behalf of this client to disqualify me for cause. A new judge will be assigned to this case.
In order to better understand these chain of events that have transpired, first, we will need to start from the very beginning, noting every person's involvement to simply ascertain their role or connection. We're granted the privilege of acquiring exclusive audio and video coverage made public by East Idaho News, CBS, and newly released court documents. We are given much more details, thus providing us better hindsight in evaluating and determining our ruling. This case is still pending in the Madison County Court and is due to resume within a year from this published recording. This is the cult of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. But before we begin, here's a few words from our sponsor. Originating from the bustling streets of San Francisco, the creators of Native brings to you a wide variety of products such as body wash, shampoo, toothpaste, and deodorant. Native's line of deodorants are made without aluminum and paraben ingredients, instead taking a more familiar approach with the use of coconut oil and shea butter. Some of the scents I received were the eucalyptus mint. This one I found to be extremely refreshing with a therapeutic scent combination. Lavender rose. If you are a fan of lavender like I am, and find the smell to be relaxing and calming, this may be a great option for you. And my personal favorite, coconut vanilla. All deodorants provide up to 24 hours of odor protection. Don't forget to check out Native's limited edition products that are always changing year round. I was sent their Fresh Peach Cupcake Body Wash from their collection with Baked by Melissa. Needless to say, I seriously want to try their other limited edition products. If you are considering purchasing any products from Native, consider using my link and code and you will receive over 30% off your next order.
So put a finger down if when you were 20 years old you became a nanny for a really amazing family. The parents were great, you loved the kids, even years later you still go and hang out with them quite regularly. Now, when you were a nanny for them, You lived with them for about 6 months. During these 6 months, you learned a lot about the family, you learned a lot of family secrets, and you got pretty close with the extended family because they lived close by. Now, one of the aunts, who you know, is being investigated for the disappearance of her 2 missing children, who you also know, and being investigated in relation to the deaths of many other people. She has been arrested, but because she has been arrested, a lot of the family secrets that you already know are coming out of the woodwork, and you keep getting a strange phone call from the same number that has the area code of one of the states where all this is happening. You don't know if it's a scam, if it's the FBI, if it's somebody you know, but either way, you're too afraid to answer the phone.
In 1973, Lori Noreen Cox was born in San Bernardino, California. She had 2 brothers, one named Alex and one named Adam. Lori also had an older sister named Stacy, but Stacy would soon pass in 1998. The details of her death is still a mystery to this day, as police determined she died due to natural causes. In 2001, Lori Vallow would meet a man named Joseph Ryan. The two would get married in Phoenix, Arizona, birthing 2 children, naming them Tylee and Colby. The couple would eventually get divorced 3 years later, where they would depart going their separate ways. During the end of their relationship, Lori would start making numerous claims accusing Joseph of sexually abusing the kids. Lori would eventually relay this information to her brother, Alex. Alex would construct a plan to punish Joseph.
Lori and Alex planned Joe's death. And Lori found out that Joe molested her kids, supposedly, and Alex got upset, and
Alex's plan failed, and Joseph would call the police, resulting in 12 months of incarceration. On April 3rd, 2004, police would discover Joseph deceased inside his Phoenix, Arizona apartment. To what police claimed, he had undergone numerous stages of decomposition. This left police to believe he passed away days prior and had been decomposing in the house faster due to the hot temperatures in Arizona. The Maricopa medical examiners would evaluate and determine Joseph died due to natural causes. They claimed Joseph passed away due to an arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease. This is accumulation of plaque buildup in the main arteries causing a lack of blood flow. His death was never looked into, and the kids continued to live with their mother. In 2006, Lori would then marry a man named Charles Woodcock. The two fell in love, so much so that Charles would even put Lori as the sole beneficiary for his $1 million life insurance policy. The two would eventually move in together and adopt a 7-year-old boy named Joshua Jackson, aka JJ. In 2019, during Lori's relationship with Charles, Lori began reading numerous books by a man named Chad Daybell. Chad was a part-time gravedigger who began publishing books and broadcasting podcasts.
July the 15th, and our theme is uplifting the downtrodden and healing the brokenhearted, which we all can relate to, right?
I'm just very honored to be part of the conference. I've recently released my autobiography entitled Living on the Edge of Heaven, where I tell more about my 2 near-death experiences and how that prompted me to write my novels. And I will also at the conference talk a little bit more about my upcoming novel, where I talk more about some of the refugees that I've seen coming from the West Coast after there's destruction and troubles there, and how we will be able to assist them and help them not only physically but also spiritually, and help them in their lives, and I'm eager to share that with you.
So we are really excited.
These books would detail his life and how to prepare yourself if the world were to come to an end. The two came in contact with each other, building a relationship within the next few months. At this time, Chad was still married to a woman named Tammy. Tammy and Chad had been married for over 30 years and had 5 kids together. As Lori and Chad grew more and more closer, Charles would notice a shift in Lori's behavior. Charles claimed Lori began speaking as if she were a deity and deemed Charles to be a dark soul, stating she was going to destroy him. On January 31st, police would receive a call from Charles claiming Lori had took the kids and vanished into the night, locking him out of his house and taking his car from the airport.
I can't get in touch with my kids.
How old are your kids?
6.5 and 16. Okay.
How long have you been trying?
2 days.
Okay.
But she's lost her mind. I don't know how else to say it. We're LDS. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a God, and remember the 144,000. She's come. Jesus is coming next year. She took all the money out of her bank account today. My truck has gone from the airport. She went to the airport and got it. I just flew in from Dallas. Houston and Dallas. So
where's your truck?
I don't know.
Okay. So what makes her a danger to herself and to others?
She threatened me, murder me, kill me.
She threatened to murder you?
Yes. And she said,
how did she do that?
My bishop right there is in the car. He was on the phone with me today when she said, "I will have you destroyed." Was what she said there.
Okay, that's not a threat to kill you.
Yesterday was a threat to kill me. Today,
Okay.
of course,
What did she say yesterday?
She said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Says I'm gonna kill you too. Yesterday was I'm
So
gonna.
she's speaking as a spiritual being.
She's not here. She's lost her reality.
Is this just all recent, or has it been going on?
It's been going on for about 4 or 5 years. It's gotten really, really bad lately. She goes to the temple every day and speaks with Moroni and Jesus Christ, and they tell her what to do. And now she came to her today, and last couple of days she says, "I'm not Charles. You're not Charles. You're Nick Schneider." I don't know where she gets his names from. She got all this stuff from these people in Utah who tell her how many past lives she's had and probation she's had. And she's was married to Moroni way back when, and she was also married to James the Just. And
okay, this is all foreign to me. So
it's foreign to me.
Well, I'm not LDS.
It's crazy stuff.
I know you're using LDS terms here.
But it's just she's nonsensical.
Okay.
And I haven't seen my.
Is he the older one or the younger one?
He's 6.5 years old.
Okay.
Okay. I want to do this now. You've got a pickup order. Am I correct?
We do.
Okay. If she doesn't answer, what do we do?
If she doesn't answer, we can't enforce the order.
Can I break into my house?
Do you live here?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
My lease. I paid the lease.
Do you guys have any orders of protections against you?
No, we do not.
So, no police reports?
No, nothing.
Okay. So how does she pose a threat to your children?
I don't know what she's going to do with them. I don't know if she's going to flee with them. She's going to hurt them.
You don't even know if she's here, right?
Today on the phone. I can't. All the cars are. The garage is closed. I don't know. This is killing me, officer.
Oh, I can understand.
Our 13th anniversary next month. We've been at a great marriage. All of a sudden, the last month it just blew up. She just lost connection. No, she's talking physically. I will kill you because you're not Charles, and nobody will care.
Okay. So she at this point doesn't think you are her husband?
She thinks I'm Nick Schneider.
Who's Mick Schneider?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's the name she used. I don't know where it came from.
Okay.
I'm just like, I'm as bewildered as you are. Call me.
You have any tool?
No. You guys want to try it? You're welcome to.
Normally we don't, because if we get hurt, but you want to try it? How about it?
During Lori's disappearance, she would finally reveal her location when she claimed Charles stole her purse. She reported the theft to police, all whilst accompanied by Tylee and her close friend, Melanie Gibb. For further context, Melanie Gibb were a close friend of Lori who shared similar beliefs as they both went to the same church.
Hello. Good. Hello. We got enough chairs for everybody? Yeah, I think so. No, I won't fit with those handles.
No? I wasn't going to file
This
a
thing
report,
makes
but
my
my
hips
friend,
rather
who is a
wide.
police officer, told me to file a report.
Okay.
So. He's like, it's just good to have it on record, so.
Yeah, okay, I got a little bit of info from dispatch. Said he stole your phone.
What happened?
Purse.
Why don't you tell us what happened?
So yesterday, I got in an argument with my husband on the phone, and he was in Texas working, and I found some stuff that he'd been doing, so he was really defensive. And so I took the kids, we spent the night in a hotel because I knew he was coming home. And so this morning when I took my son to school, which he I went into the school to take him into school. He was waiting somewhere and like stole my purse out of the car, my whole purse. So my phone, my wallet, my money, my everything was in there. So I had the door locked, but the sunroof was open because we have a service dog and he was in the car and I didn't want to, my son was kind of throwing a fit. I didn't want to get them both out of the car because it was a mess this morning. And we didn't have any of our stuff because we spent the night in the hotel and he was out of his element. So I didn't lock the door for like the first time ever, and he like, whatever, either got it out, I don't remember if the door was locked, he got it out, or he reached through the sunroof and just got it. But then he started texting all my family and all my friends and impersonating me and got my friend lured over to the house to meet him, where he had like kicked in the door to get into the house and stuff, so.
And he did that this morning?
Last night.
Last night.
Which I'm glad we weren't there. So.
Right. And so when I got there, I'm like, Lori? Where's Lori?
But he
Oh,
texted
she's
her
not
from
here.
my phone because
little freak.
he was pretending to be me, saying,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I thought
come
it
meet
was
me at the
him.
house," and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh.
How did he, what did he say to you?
He said, can you come to the house now?
And
And I said, sure. Yeah, and he, proceeded to act like he was himself.
Do you have the text messages on your
I
phone?
have it on my phone. But so when I got there, I said, you've been using Lori's phone to connect with me. He goes, sorry, I've deceived you. I said, oh, okay, yeah, you did. And luckily, there were some other people there that were,
He was changing the locks and probably
the
having the door
locksmiths were
fixed
there.
where he kicked it in. So that
The
people
locksmiths were
wouldn't
there,
see.
so I'm glad that they were there. But there was a white Suburban, which I don't know. It was up in there. I don't know where he got that car. But anyway, there was a few vehicles, so I didn't know, I suspected it would be her. I should have noticed that your car wasn't there, but I didn't notice that. So.
What kind of car do you drive? Contact with you since?
He's trying to contact me through her. He has my phone. I don't have a way to be contacted.
Yeah, and I didn't know her. I didn't know what her. I couldn't contact her.
Nobody
And
could
wait till
contact
she
me.
called
I
me.
just went and bought a phone so
Yeah.
I could have a phone, a little throwaway phone. So I could.
Have you called him to ask him if he'd bring your stuff back?
Well, he talked to her about it. So.
And what was?
Yeah, I said, would you be willing to give me the purse for Lori? And he goes, no, unless she does this, and all these.
Don't speak in generalities. I want
sorry.
specifics. What did he say?
So he wanted me to meet him
Okay.
at therapy. He wasn't going to give you the purse. He just was saying he'd give it to me if I meet him there.
Okay.
But I don't really want to talk to him today if I don't have to. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we have him bring the purse back, are we all good? You're not willing to meet with him with a therapist or anything to try to get it back?
I don't want to meet with him because I don't know. He's very sneaky. So like what he'll do is meet me in the parking lot and mess around with me, whatever. Like he's not going to just.
What if we
let
called
me
him
walk
and
into therapy,
see if he'll
but-
come here and we can facilitate him giving your purse back? Texting her.
Texting all my, and
Yeah.
all my family and the kids too.
Yeah, he definitely has her phone. So we know it was him that took the purse because he. had her
What
phone.
what's he texting you?
I have the text. He was basically just texting me.
He's acting like that my son was in danger. I'm worried about JJ's safety and things, and texting her like he's gonna.
So he at first texted me, "You doing okay today? Hey." I may not be home for a bit. Love you. Sent me a strange link to a website about our church.
About crazy people.
Yeah. Said this is what's happening, and then he texted me at almost midnight. I'm sorry, but I have no choice. I'm just sick. I had no choice. Which he didn't file a police report or anything as far as we know, so I'm just assuming he was trying to get a response, and then I love you. He was.
Police report about what?
Or I don't know, but he was acting like he did something.
And then those text messages came from, do you have it entered as mom's phone or?
No, that was from him.
That's before.
That was from his phone.
He didn't take the purse until 8:30
This was
morning
last
when I was
night.
at school.
So that was from his
Okay.
phone.
And he was sending word for word the same text to my cousin, like
What's his name?
Charles.
What's his phone number? Charles. Hi, this is Officer Edgerton, Gilbert PD. Is this Charles? Hey, Charles. The reason why I'm calling right now is your wife's at the police department claiming you stole her purse and her cell phone. Okay, you realize they don't belong to you, correct? Okay, so that's a civil issue, and she's responsible for every penny when if you guys end up going through divorce proceedings. Okay, and you also texted a friend to meet you at the house last night under the guise that you were her. What was that for? So you texted a friend of hers to meet you at the house last night using her cell phone. What was that all about? Oh, this morning? Okay. Yeah, we read the report from earlier today regarding you not being able to get into the house and everything, so. I do not have the order in front of me, so I cannot do that. It's got to be approved, and I know I cannot I cannot get her, well, it's got to go to our sergeant, who's got to call, verify that it's good, and then we get dispatched. So that's just how the process works. And I can't keep somebody against their will without a warrant or the valid. Well, I'm telling you right now, we have a process. You come here, you turn it in, it goes to a sergeant. Sergeant calls the doctor. Okay, well, I don't have that, and for all we know, it's not valid anymore. I do not know. What I'm concerned about. Yeah, well, that's not what I'm discussing a whole separate issue right now, and that's her getting her belongings back. Okay, you're saying it's at the house, which you changed the locks on, correct? So she doesn't have access to. Yes. So unless you want to be charged with theft, we need to get that purse back to her. If you want to come here with the purse and that order, we can get this all try to figure it out. And the purse, and her cell phone. Okay. So how soon can you be here? We're at the police department, 75 East Civic Center Drive, Gilbert and Warner. Thank you. All right, how long? All right, but he says he's coming with the order. This is going to get real interesting.
Shortly after, Charles would report the false allegations to the police.
January 31st, 2019, 13 hours, 12 minutes, 57 seconds.
Gilbert Police Department, this is Dee.
See, my name is Charles Vallow. I've got an order to hold my wife. You can look it up, Lori Vallow.
Uh-huh.
And, go ahead.
Yep. You we spoke to you earlier about her.
Right. She is at the Gilbert PD saying I stole her purse. I'm going to go over there, and the officer said he won't hold her because he doesn't have an active order. Can you get that to him like immediately? I'm going there right now.
Okay, just one moment, sir. Is she out? Is she in the lobby right now?
That's correct. Blonde hair.
Okay. And how far away are you?
I'm about 10 minutes away. About
Do you
20
want
minutes.
officers
Where
with her?
You're at Civic Center Drive? You're on Civic Center Drive?
Yes. 75 East
Yeah.
Civic Center Drive. And do you want officers to go down there with her?
She's supposed to be retained for bridges. I got an order last night. She's lost her marbles.
Okay, we'll get in contact with our front office or our lobby.
Okay, but I don't want to go there if she's going to not be.
Yeah,
retained.
I'm gonna call them right now.
Can you call me back and let me know?
I can have an officer contact you. What's your number?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
January 31st, 2019, 13 hours, 14 minutes, 40 seconds. January 31st, 2019, 13 hours, 20 minutes, 53 seconds.
Gilbert Police, this is Mandy. Can I help you?
Yeah, this is Charles Vallow. I just called a moment ago. My wife said to Gilbert Police Department saying I stole her purse, but she's been called for being held at bridges. She's supposed to when they can find her, and she is there. Said somebody would call me back in a minute, and I just want to make sure that's going to happen because I just have been trying to find her all day. She needs serious help.
What's your name?
My name is Charles Vallow.
And your wife's name?
Lori Vallow. She's the one
Okay.
making the complaint against me at the police department right there. You're on
Okay.
Civic Center Drive, right?
Yep.
That's between, I'm going to come up Lindsay and where to?
Lindsay, you're on Lindsay now, you said?
Yeah,
Lindsay and what?
Lindsay and Riggs.
Lindsay and Riggs. You're going to go way north to Lindsay and Warner.
Okay, got you. Okay.
And then Warner, you're going to hang a left, go up to, easiest way is to go up to Gilbert, then go back down south to Civic Center. We're just south of Gilbert and Civic Center, or Gilbert and Warner.
Okay. Did you know if they were going to give her, do the hold on her for bridges?
Did you just call in, Charles?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So it looks like we have all the notes in here. Yeah, they haven't called you. It's only been a couple of minutes. It's been less than 10 minutes.
Must say, but they will call me back.
Yes, they will be calling you back.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And is your wife, Lori, is she still here that you know of?
Yes, she said she's waiting for me to bring a purse.
Okay, I gotcha. Yep, they're get an officer assigned here just as soon as they can. An officer will be contacting you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
January 31st, 2019, 13 hours, 22 minutes, 44 seconds.
This crime was never disputed, and Charles would continue to try and file for divorce. Over the course of the next 6 months, Charles would soon find out about Lori's affair with Chad and threaten to tell Tammy himself. On July 11th, 2019, police would arrive at Charles and Lori's residence to make a startling discovery.
No weapons? No weapons on you. Come on out this way. Yep. Whenever you have a seat right here, up there. Yep.
Who else is in the house?
No one else is in the house.
Okay, just have a seat right there.
Yeah.
Let's get FD in here.
Yeah.
Have a seat.
Yeah. 18th. Seat secure. We got the gentleman out.
You have some ID on you, sir?
Yeah.
What happened today? How did it get to this?
I don't know. He was enraged.
What's going on? What happened?
He was talking with my sister earlier.
No, what happened today, though? Like, just in the last 20 minutes.
He came at me with a bat.
Okay. Was he living here or
No.
visiting?
He came to pick up his son.
Okay, is the son inside?
No. My sister took him to school.
Okay, so it was just you at the house?
Yes.
And he came, how long, what time did he come to pick up the son?
I don't know, 20 minutes ago maybe.
Okay, so you know who he is, let him in?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think they were talking earlier, then she left, and then he got into it with me.
Like what? What do you mean?
I don't know, he was accusing me of...
Come on over here. That truck's going to be really loud. What was he accusing you of?
He was just yelling at me.
It's important to note the verbal details Alex relays to the officer. Alex claims Charles was accusing him, but fails to recall what he was being accused of. This is the first red flag that Alex's story may be fabricated in order to better fulfill his narrative. The police continues to question Alex on the incident.
Okay, what was he yelling at you about?
About my sister because I'd broken up the tussle with them earlier. And he told me not to interfere anymore with them or I'd pay. And he came at me with a bat.
Okay, so he showed up in the house with a bat in his hand?
No.
Okay, so...
There was a scuffle earlier with my sister and my niece. My niece got involved.
About earlier meaning earlier this week, earlier
No,
this morning?
just this morning, before they left.
Before your wife left?
My sister.
Before your sister left?
Yeah.
Okay, who lives here with you?
Nobody. I don't live here. My sister lives here and my niece lives here.
And you're just visiting?
I was visiting for the night.
Okay, so you're over here visiting your sister and your niece?
Yes.
Okay, and there was a tussle between your sister and her husband?
Yes.
And does the husband live here or no?
No. He
Okay.
lives in Houston.
Okay, is he an ex-husband or just current husband?
They're working on that.
Gotcha. So at some point earlier today, they get into some type of domestic?
Yeah, just this morning, then they left, and then he came at me.
They left meaning who? Both of parties?
Yeah, my sister took my niece and my nephew.
Okay, so they left.
Create some space from him, and then he came at me.
Okay, but did he leave also?
No.
He stayed here?
He stayed.
So you guys are kind of talking in between or what? Who are you? Who are you?
I'm a neighbor.
No, just go back. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So it's just you and your brother-in-law?
Yes.
Okay. And kind of go through it. Did you say something like, hey, don't touch my sister, or
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then he picked up the bat.
Where was the bat at?
In the living room.
Okay.
The guy inside's name?
No, I haven't got it. So you get in an argument? What is it over?
Well, it was over my sister. He was getting physical with her, and so my niece came out with her bat, and then he took the bat away from her.
Wait a minute, I thought you said your niece left.
She did. This was before.
Okay, so before your sister and your niece left,
Yeah.
at some point your sister and her husband are arguing.
Yes.
Verbal argument. And then your niece pulls out a bat?
Well, it wasn't verbal. He was getting close, and she came out to defend my sister with her bat.
Your niece?
Yes.
Okay.
And then she poked at him, and then he took it away.
Okay.
And then I stepped in and told them they needed to separate.
Right.
So then my sister leaves with my niece.
And how long ago did they leave? It's been like an hour, 10 minutes?
20 minutes maybe, I don't know.
Okay. So not terribly long.
No.
Oh, okay.
And then he's coming back at me, and he's still got the bat in his hand. I'm like, what are you doing?
And where are you at it? Where are you both
in the
at?
living room.
Okay.
And then I turned around, and he hit me in the back of the head with the bat. So I went to my room and got my gun. I always carry it.
You went to your room, meaning the room you're
I'm
staying in?
Yeah.
Okay, and you brought a gun with you?
Yes.
Do you always bring a gun?
I have a concealed carry always.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Hi, who are you? Okay, just stand over there for just a second, guys.
We observed Lori approach the scene of the crime, showing no sign of curiosity or emotion for her brother that is just a few feet away from her, and an ongoing investigation in front of her house. This can be interpreted that Lori may already had prior knowledge of the outcome, thus resulting in a more calm demeanor. In hindsight, we're given the knowledge that Lori left with Charles' phone right after the shooting, and would later be called by detectives to return the phone. She complies with the direction given by the officer and proceeds to wait across the street.
So you told him to put the...
Yes.
So where are you at?
Back
Where are you at now? Or did you stay in your bedroom?
No.
Okay, why didn't you stay just in your bedroom, close the door? Is that something you didn't think about? Or
Didn't even occur to me.
okay, so walk me through it. So you go back into your room
So I just went back to the living room. Like, what is your problem?
with the gun in your hand.
Yes. And I said, I want you to put that bat down. And he wouldn't do it. And he's like, and he came at me with the bat again after he'd already hit me in the head. So I shot him to stop him.
Okay, then what happened?
That was it.
Just think that for a second. Where's the weapon at now?
It's in the bedroom.
So after you shot him, you put it back in the room, or?
Yeah, I went back to the bedroom to get my phone.
Okay. And what'd you do with your phone?
It's right here.
Okay. And then what'd you do once you put your gun back? Grabbed your phone.
I cleaned my head up.
After you, was he laying there in the living room?
Yeah, he was laying there still, and it just took me a minute to compose myself. I mean, I was just shaking, and then I called.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll call 17 log.
Can I get some water?
Stand by. I don't have engine 2811, and then Chandler Rescue. I don't have any water, so give me a second.
No worries.
Guys, hang tight just for a second. Don't go in there. Partner, hang tight. Don't go in there just now, guys. It's now a crime scene, so hang tight. Okay, cool. There's no, like... Where's our third unit coming here?
I'm gonna take it off right over here.
Let's do this inside first. Let's get that inside perimeter done. I'll just hold right here.
Okay.
You want to just grab that inside perimeter?
Chandler Police Department, anybody inside, make yourself known. Hey team, we got one subject down, apparent gunshot wounds to the chest.
The police now comes in contact with the weapon that has been used in the shooting. It's worth noting the distance from Alex's room to the living room. This amount of distance gives Alex more than enough time to call the police.
He's right here in the living room. Firearm's gonna be in the front door, in the front bedroom, laying on the ground next to a case.
This happened right here, fellas?
I believe so. The firearm's in the other room here. What's up? I can't, what you said?
We just did a sweep for nobody else was here.
Yeah, I just did.
Fire over there?
Yep. I'm gonna go see if we can get this. You wanna stay in here? I'll see if I get this.
And it was just you, your sister, and the kids. Yeah. And then he comes over, and now it's about 20, 30 minutes ago, roughly?
Roughly.
Gotcha. Okay. Hang tight.
This is the wife.
The suspect is her husband. The suspect is her brother. Okay? So brother, sister, niece, husband, estranged, doesn't live here. Lives in Texas. She's visiting. Because it was a DV earlier this morning. Brother kind of broke him up, said it was getting a little bit physical.
With the wife?
Yeah, because wife and husband are kind of separated. Again, he lives out of state. I don't know why he's here to visit. I don't have those details. Ultimately, he came over. They got into a verbal argument. Wife, husband got into a verbal argument. Brother steps in and says, just get the fuck out. At some point, the niece grabs the bat and is poking her dad. Dad takes the bat away. They decide to leave. Everyone leaves. There's a son, too, a younger son. Her son, he's not here either. So, wife who lives here, her daughter, her son, they all leave. Her brother staying here, visiting, and the husband. They get into it. He's like, he says they got into an argument. Husband hit him in the head with a bat. The bat's right next to the brother says, fuck that. Goes to his room, grabs his gun, his own gun, goes back out, doesn't stay in the room, doesn't lock the door, doesn't call us, but goes back out, confronts him, says, drop the bat. Guy doesn't drop the bat. He says he shoots him. Goes back into his room, puts his gun away, grabs his phone, cleans his head up, calls 911. And he's right there. So
we're going to take her over to the victim's assistant. Her name is what again?
You guys want a quick briefing on the shooter's statement?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still rolling. I haven't even gone this close. Okay, so.
You can shut yours off.
Okay.
Charles' death was eventually ruled as self-defense by Lori's brother Alex. Lori, Tylee, and Alex were all taken into police custody that same day, where they each had given their own perspective of the shooting.
Okay. I know Lori's your first name, right? Yeah. Lauri?
Lori.
Okay. And then what's your last name?
Vallow. Vallow.
Okay, I know this sounds silly, but it's probably the easiest way to start, is just to tell me what happened. And then, so you can start what makes the most sense to you, and we'll just work our way through, and I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions just to kind of clarify.
Sure.
So I know you talked to the initial patrol officer.
And he just got information. He didn't say anything.
So yeah, if you can just kind of tell me kind of what happened. It sounds like some of this may have started last night or something along those lines. Right. So start where you think it makes the most sense.
Okay. So,
I told you, it's a crazy question.
Well, so we moved into this house 3 weeks ago because he offered to get me a house here where all my family is. Okay. We were in Houston. And so he's like, we had decided to separate or whatever. So he's like, well, I'll pay for a house for you and for JJ and whatever, because he's all about JJ. He's never about Tylee, but he's all about JJ. Because we adopted him together. He's his great nephew. We adopted him as a baby. And so we adopted him as a baby, and so we've been raising him together. And he travels all the time for business, so he's used to just going back and forth. So he's always gone like Monday through Friday. So he came when we first moved in and brought me stuff from Houston, like a U-Haul, and then he hasn't been back. But it's all these threats on my phone all the time, you know, like whatever, all these things. And then he told me...
What kind of threats?
Just... You'd have to read them to see, but he's always mad at me, right? And he doesn't want a divorce, but I don't like him and don't want to deal with him, so that's just how it is. Like.
In hindsight, we observe Lori claim Charles did not want to get a divorce and had been sending threatening text messages to Lori's phone. But we know this is simply not true. This reveals that Lori is trying to present Charles as deranged and obsessive in an attempt to provide context for this detective. We also know that Charles had been trying to file for a divorce, but Lori would mysteriously vanish shortly after, thus halting the process. Some would argue Lori was trying to delay this process so she would remain the beneficiary for Charles' life insurance policy. The detective continues her neutral approach, listening to Lori's alibi and inquiring further into Charles' history.
So we married for 14 years, we dealt with it for 14 years, of him being horrible to her. Like, he gets in huge fights with her, a lot of things. But anyway, so he said, I'm coming Wednesday night, all of a sudden. I want to see JJ. And I told him, I said, I will never keep JJ from you. You can come see him whenever you want to, come take him to school, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that.
So when you initially moved, he had said he was going to buy you a house, so you moved here With your
Yeah, he was going to rent us a house.
And so you
'Cause
moved.
all my family lives here. So
Right.
we lived here for a long time.
Okay.
And then he moved us to Houston.
Okay.
And we were there with my son. He was out of school. He didn't have any of his like services, his DDD, his anything. He like ripped him out of school and said, we're moving.
Okay.
And I didn't go with him at first. And he took him. And I let him take him. And I didn't file anything or whatever. And then he filed something against me and said, I'm only going to get supervised visits because I'm crazy and blah, 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 you know, the story. And so I just didn't talk to him for like 30 days and let him take care of him and let him see what I've been doing for the past 7 years, because men need to do that. You know, I have 5 kids, I have grown kids, I have grandkids. Like, okay, you're going to threaten me that you're not going to let me see my child without supervised visitation? Okay, do it for 30 days and see how long it lasts. You're begging me to come pick him up.
Yeah.
Which he did.
Lori reveals to the detectives that she has knowledge of Charles calling her crazy. This is important when trying to understand Lori's psychosis, as Lori shows no sign of being mentally ill or suffering from any form of psychopathy. She comes across somewhat logical and believable. This reveals that Lori is much more cognitive of her actions overall, choosing when and where to display any form of manic behavior, as claimed by Charles.
Long story. I'll keep it short. He hasn't been here in a couple weeks since we moved in. He came. He was very nasty when he was there, but he travels for business. So he went back to the Houston house, and he's like, I'm coming on Wednesday night, and I'm going to come pick up JJ and take him to school Thursday, pick him up Thursday, take him Friday, whatever. And I said, Casey wanted to come to the house, and I said, you can't come stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee. She's a minor, she has to live here.
Yeah.
So, Casey gets in huge fights up there.
Okay.
And she hates him. And so I'm like, you can't stay at the house, so I will book you a hotel, because he stays in hotels all the time because he travels for business, and the business pays for it, right? So I said, I will book you a hotel nearby.
What does he do?
He works with teachers and their retirement plans, but he goes to them at their school.
Oh,
He
okay.
mostly works in California, no matter where we live. And we lived in Hawaii, he'd work in California, he'd work in Texas, he has like books of business in different areas. And so he just goes wherever. It kind of just gives him freedom that he doesn't have to stay home every day and take care of special needs child. It's like an excuse, right? So I've done that myself for the past 7 years anyway. And I was a single mom before I married him with my 2 kids. And he had 2 kids. We got married, tried to make a family. You know how it goes. Anyway. So he said he was coming last night. I said, well, you can't stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee, and I'll get you a hotel and you can come play with JJ. But he goes to school all day. I got him back into his school. His services, I met with the DDD yesterday, and they finally are getting his services back, but we're paying $125 a day to have him back at school because he's so out of his routine. He's been a nightmare on the floor, kicking stuff, hitting stuff, walls, like, he just ripped him out of his life. So, anyway, just how he is, because he only thinks about himself, so.
No, but she needs help. Yeah. She needs some serious help. I want her to get help. I'm worried about her.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll survive this, but she needs help.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I think we can find where she will be.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to do a sting operation.
He came over in the morning and he's like banging on the door. I'm like, oh great, here we go, you know. And I was just going to be nice. I was just going to be nice as possible. And I had JJ stuff all ready for school. And so.
Do you remember about what time he got there?
He said he'd be there at 7:30, but it was more like 7:40-ish or 7:35. I don't know.
Okay.
But I remember thinking, looking at the clock, and he wasn't there at 7:30, and he's usually Mr. On
Punctual.
time. Yes. So I was like, okay. And then JJ was like, oh, Dad. And then he was like, Mommy, and like ran to me and was like holding me. He's like, you're not taking me to school. And I was like, it's okay, Dad, I can just drive you to school. It's not a big deal. You know, just trying to make it whatever.
Calm.
Yeah, calm. And then he was just being real smirky and real like jerky, you know, to me. And I was like ignoring him, whatever. And so he was like,
And your brother lives there with you?
No.
Okay.
He had stayed with me last night because I was worried he was going to come over and cause trouble with me.
Okay.
And just wanted someone else there, like my brother there, because I trust my brother. And it's been a long story. Like, I had to go live at my brother's when he took JJ, and, you know, he's just been difficult. So, anyway. So I got JJ's stuff ready, and he was like, well, and he's like this about timing. He's like, I'm leaving in 20 minutes, because it's like 15 minutes to the school, and like you can't get there early, they don't open the gates until 8:20 or something like that. And I said, well,
why don't you just go now? I don't want him in the house. I'm like, why don't you just go now and take him to Burger King because that's what he likes for breakfast. And he's very particular about food. Like, he wanted chicken fries for breakfast and a Sprite. Like, and I just give him what he wants because if you don't give him what he wants, then it's like on the floor screaming, dragging him into school. Like, and he's big and he's heavy and it's hard for me to handle. But anyway, so I said, just go. And so he said, okay. So I gave him a backpack. He got in the car. This is his MO, right? He always leaves something in the house and comes back. He never leaves the first time. I always expect my husband to come back into the house, right? So I guess he had left his phone on the counter.
So he initially left with the backpack and with JJ?
And so he put them in the car, in the driveway, and then he came back in, right? So I kissed JJ goodbye. He came back in, and his phone was on the counter, and I had his phone. And he was like, giving me my phone, and I was like, why don't you show me your text that you've been texting, blah, 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 you know, whatever.
We observe Lori claim to initiate the confrontation by taking Charles' phone and refusing to give it back to him, which she never did. Lori claims she asked Charles who he's been texting, displaying a glimpse of jealousy, even trying to obtain sympathy from the female detective.
And I was like, why don't you show me your text that you've been texting, blah, 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 you know, whatever.
But moments prior, we observed Lori claim she didn't want to be with Charles and had been trying to file for a divorce. If Lori had truly disliked Charles as she describes, she would have never taken his phone to see who he's been talking to.
He's like acting really weird, like he's plotting something against me. Like, I'm like, why are you even here? Like, what did you come here for? You know, he's been talking to my other brother, and my brother came into town at the same time last night. And I haven't talked to my brother in a while, my other brother, and I was like, and so he was texting him on the phone when he first got to my house, and I'm like, why are you texting Adam? Like, do you even talk to him? Like, my other brother. And,
he wanted me to fly out there and meet with the stake president, because I know their stake president in our church, and I said, all right, I'll go out there and meet. And he says, I'll just put you on my miles and I'll fly you out there, but don't tell Lori or tell your family that I'm flying you out there, or Lori will run. She won't talk to you. And I was like, okay.
You know, he's been telling me all these texts, like, you're going down, blah, 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 blah. He's blaming me for our marriage breaking up and my niece getting divorced and my friend getting divorced. He said, I'm a destroyer of families.
The two people who Lori is referring to is her niece named Melanie Pulowski and her friend named Melanie Gibb. Both Melanies share the same ideology and were members of the same church at some time. Both figures are quite important in fully grasping an overall synopsis, so their roles and involvement will be covered very shortly.
Because I want everybody to get divorced. I'm like, what would my motivation be for people getting divorced? So I could babysit the kids more? Like, why would I have any control over what people do?
Yeah.
So it's just very odd. But anyway, he goes nuts. He's gone nuts on us a lot of times. Tylee and I have had to leave with JJ over the years probably 5 times and just stay in a hotel for 2 days because he goes nuts. Like, you don't know what's going to set him off. Like, whatever. And she's mad at me for always, like, going back. But we had JJ and he's special needs and it's really hard. Like, it's even hard to take care of it by yourself.
So when you say he goes nuts, that can mean a lot of different things.
Right.
So goes nuts like yelling and screaming.
Yeah,
goes
yelling
nuts
and screaming,
like breaking
like,
things.
yes.
Goes nuts like physical violence.
He's never really, besides like grabbing us and pushing us, but not like punching us or something. But with Tylee, he has gotten physical.
Okay.
Before, and with my grown son.
Like physical how?
Like got into a physical fist fight with my son when he was 16.
Okay.
And he came after Tylee 2 times in Hawaii.
Okay.
And like went like he was going to hit her, but then I got in between them. Right.
How old was she when that happened?
Probably 13 and 14.
Okay.
The authenticity of this statement has never been inquired further, but basing off of Adam's interview, Lori's oldest brother and also a good friend of Charles, Adam claims Charles would never hurt anyone, let alone his own stepdaughter, Tylee.
And why wouldn't he call 911? Charles is not going to hurt anybody. He's not going to go crazy on anybody.
So this morning he comes back in and...
He comes back in, I wouldn't give him his phone. He was screaming at me to give him his phone. He was very worried about whatever was on his text that he did not want me to see. And So I was just holding it there, and he was screaming at me. And I was kind of walking towards around the house with it, so he couldn't get it. He's like reaching for it and stuff like that. And so Tylee came out of her room, upset, and she had a bat, and she told him to leave her mother alone. Like,
I woke up probably around like 7:50, I want to say, because I heard yelling from like right outside my door. I don't even know where, but I immediately like jumped up, and I have a baseball bat because when I was living at my uncle's by myself, I just wanted something to like feel safer, and I'm not old enough to get like pepper spray or anything, so I was like, okay, I'll get a baseball bat. I immediately just jumped up and I grabbed my baseball bat and I opened the door, and it was my stepdad, you know, outside the doorway, and then my uncle kind of in the doorway, and then I could hear my mom behind him.
Right? So she was really whatever, and he's screaming at her, don't you hit me with that bat, blah, 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 blah. And then my brother heard all the commotion because he was in there in bed, and so he came out into the main room, and I guess whatever.
What's your brother's name?
Alex.
Alex, okay.
Well, I stayed the night at my sister's.
Okay.
We were planning to go do something fun today. We hadn't really decided. I was thinking maybe I was going to take her to the range.
Okay.
Or go do something.
Okay.
I don't know, take JJ to some water park or movies or whatever.
And then
your brother lives there with you?
No,
Okay.
he had stayed with me last night because I was worried he was going to come over and
Okay.
cause trouble with me.
Okay.
And just wanted someone else there, like my brother there, because I trust my brother. And
So I stayed there last night, and then this morning Charles showed up, and I don't know what started it.
And Charles is your brother-in-law, he and Lori are married?
Yes.
Okay.
So he showed up. He was following her and yelling, and then I got between them. And then Tylee came out with her bat, and I'd separated them for a minute, and then my sister walked around me. They're in the living room, and then Charles was following Lori and yelling, and Tylee told him to get back. She took her bat like that and shoved him, and then he took the bat away.
And then he just started, he was screaming and he was super upset and whatever, and he was yelling at Tylee, don't you hit me with that bat, and blah, blah, blah. And so Tylee, I guess, I don't know if she swung at him or what, but he like grabbed the bat from Tylee and then went to like hit Tylee with the bat. And I was right there, they were right there, and my brother grabbed him from behind, like just to stop him from hitting Tylee.
So I told him to take a few steps back. I was like, you're too close, you need to step back. And he was like, don't tell me what to do. And I just I didn't do anything with the baseball bat, I kind of just held it there. And he was getting really close to my mom, so I kind of stuck it out like between them. He just grabbed it and tried to take it, so I held on to the end, and then eventually I fell, and he kind of took it into his hands like he was going to do something with it, and that's when...
So when you fell, he ended up with the bat?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I fell to the ground, and then my uncle kind of like, I saw him take a step back, so my uncle, I think, grabbed him and kind of took him back so he couldn't like do anything.
And I said, what are you doing? And I got between them, and then he hit me, and I just went down, and when I got up, he was still yelling, and so I went into the bedroom where I was staying and grabbed my gun. I came back,
okay,
and told him to put the gun down, or the bat down.
Alex partially slips up, claiming he told Charles to put the gun down instead of put the bat down. This may be a case of instant response reflex, causing Alex to speak the first thought that came to his mind. If we also take a closer look at Alex's injury, we don't see any signs of swelling or discoloration that is commonly associated with blunt force trauma. Instead, the injury resembles an incision rather than a laceration. A metal baseball bat to the back of the skull can cause severe complications such as a loss of sight, induced comas, deformation, and, in more fatal instances, death.
You go like this, like he grabbed him like...
Yeah, from behind, like just kind of to pull him back.
And then they got into the thing, and he's hitting him with the bat, and they're on the ground, like grappling around or whatever. And then, I mean, it was all
and he
quickly.
And he hit your brother with the bat while they were grappling and stuff?
Yeah, yes, he was hitting him with the bat, like swinging the bat, you know, back and forth, and they were kind of like on the ground, and I was like freaking out trying to go around, knowing JJ was in the car, right? And so then he got up and he had the bat like this towards me, and I was going around the other side to try to just get out of his range where he couldn't hit me. And then I had told Tylee, because she was on the ground, because after he took the bat from her, she fell back. And so I told her, I was like, go get in the car with JJ. Like, I don't want JJ coming in to the house. Or.
And so my mom said to go with JJ, and so I ran out the door, and then I kind of just stood there with my little brother. He was in the front seat of the car, and so I just kind of opened the door and just stood there, and like, he was trying to get out, and I was like, no, we have to stay. We have to stay in. And I was like, oh, like, I told him, like, do you want to go in the Jeep? And then he was like, no, and then I realized that my car was blocked in, so I couldn't anyways. I was like, okay, like, just stay here. And then eventually my mom came out, and then we left from there.
So Tylee goes outside.
Yeah, she was outside.
And then what happened?
Then they got up from that, and my brother had, like, stepped back, I guess, and then Charles was coming with me at the back, yelling at me to give him his phone still, because I had it in my hand. It was all really quickly. And then when I went around kind of in the circle, then my brother was there.
When you said when you were going around and he was coming at you with the bat, how was he holding the bat?
Just like that, like backwards.
And I said, what are you doing? And I got between them, and then he hit me, and I just went down.
Yeah, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot.
So they're out of the room, so it's just you and him?
Yes.
And he basically comes at you with the bat, you tell him to put it down, he's threatened, like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And what'd you tell him?
I didn't say anything. He's coming at me, and I'm holding the gun.
Okay.
If you're going to attack someone with a gun, you got to be ready for the repercussions.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure, because he basically, you had said earlier that he had the bat, and he's asked, like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And you had already told him to put the bat down, and then he just came at you, and you shot him.
Yep.
Okay. And you're thinking a couple times?
It was more than one shot.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 shots, something like that.
So you heard the shot? Did you actually see the shot, or did you just hear it?
I had gone around to the kitchen to get away from him, and so back around. So I don't know if he went in the house.
I didn't, so I'm like a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so I didn't see the shot. I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground.
Okay.
And was freaking out. Yeah. And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into Mama, and I'm like, I've got to go to get JJ to school. I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. And so I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on. And got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in, and Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened. And I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school. And I just left.
Many may speculate that this is the exact moment when Tylee witnessed the murder of her stepfather Charles, hence her being told to wait outside. Many others will argue that this is the exact moment that essentially determined the outcome of Tylee and JJ.
Okay. Do you know what happened inside of the house? Has your mom kind of explained it all to you?
I just kind of asked her, like, because I heard a noise, which I know what it was now, but it sounded like, because I knew that the basement I was in there, it sounded like someone, like, took it and hit it really hard against the floor.
Okay.
And so I was kind of like Al's okay, right? Because that's my uncle. So I just wanted to make sure that like my stepdad didn't do anything to my uncle and stuff. And so she was like, no, like Al's fine. Like we're just gonna take JJ to school. And I was like, okay. So I just got in the car and then we went to Burger King because my little brother wanted breakfast, which was chicken fries for some reason.
Okay. I do dinner for breakfast all the time.
Breakfast for dinner and dinner for breakfast.
Whatever. Did anybody say did you or your brother say anything at some point about calling the police or calling 911? Do you remember?
Yeah, he called me.
Okay.
And he said, are you taking JJ to school? And I said, yeah, we need to call the police. And he said, okay.
Okay.
What happened right after that?
Right after that, I went to the kitchen and rinsed my hands off because I had blood on the back of my head. And then I went back into the room and put the gun down and grabbed my phone, and then went back into the kitchen and called 911.
Okay. And then, did you see your sister and Tylee again? Did they come back in or not?
Not till they drove up.
Okay. When they drove up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they drove up outside.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if you know this or not, does your brother normally carry a gun? Like, I carry a gun everywhere I go.
Right. Like, I know he's a gun person. Like, he has guns and things.
Okay.
He's good with guns.
Did you know that he had one with him?
No.
When he came over?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because he's very, very professional with guns.
Proficient, professional. Responsible is usually a good word.
Right, responsible with guns.
This piece of context is often overlooked when reviewing Alex's profile. This will become useful information later down the line. Alex would shoot Charles multiple times in self-defense, so they claimed. No one was further charged in the shooting.
Claims Department, this is Robin. May I have the policy number?
Sure. It is...
Are you calling in reference to a death claim?
Yes.
Okay, one moment, please. May I have the name of the insured?
L. Charles Vallow.
And who am I speaking with?
This is Lori Vallow.
And your relationship to the insured?
He's my husband.
Okay, one moment. Okay, ma'am, I'm just going to need to ask you a few questions so that I can open the claim, and then I can go over the claim procedure with you and answer any questions that you may have afterwards.
That would be great.
Okay, first of all, may I have your daytime phone number, please?
Sure.
And what was the date of Mr. Vallow's passing?
July 11th.
And what was the cause of his passing?
Well, he was shot.
Okay.
So I don't know how I want to put that.
Okay. All right. And I hate to ask, but is it?
Yeah,
you can just say yes or no. Was it a homicide?
No, it was an accident.
An accident. Okay. Okay. And what state did he pass away in?
Arizona.
Okay. Just bear with me for one moment. I just need to pull up a few other things.
Okay.
Are you aware of who the primary beneficiary of the policy is?
It's me.
Okay. And may I have your, I'm sorry, one moment. My computer just went away for a second. Okay. Okay, ma'am. That is all the information I need to open the claim. What we will do now is review the policy and the file to confirm the beneficiary information and determine the claim requirements that we will need to settle this particular claim. Once we have completed our review, we will prepare a claim packet to send to the named beneficiary once that has been confirmed. And the claim packet can either be mailed or emailed or faxed. How would you like to receive a correspondence?
Email would be great.
Okay, and what is your email address? .com. Okay. All right, so you should receive an email from our office within the next 3 to 5 business days or sooner. It will have the instructions listed. Once you receive the information, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to give our office a call, and then we can go from there. Okay, is there anything I can help you with at this time?
That's it, I think.
Okay, ma'am. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss. You take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Lori would eventually receive an email days later notifying her that she was removed from Charles' life insurance policy just a few days prior to his death. So Lori did not receive any money, to which she was highly upset. Chad was recorded calling a funeral home 12 hours after Charles' death. He was recorded giving a fictitious last name.
Hello, my name is their calls. How can I help you today?
We just had a death in the family, and we really don't want anything but a cremation, and then to send the cremains to a family in Louisiana. It's just a simple, nothing other than a cremation and sending him to his family for a service in Louisiana. So, is there any way to know a ballpark price on that?
Yes, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Okay, let me transfer you over to the director who can assist you with the pricing. What is your name, please?
It is Chad Daybell.
How do you spell the last name, please?
D-A-B-A-L, Daybell.
How are you related to the person who passed?
I'm his nephew.
And then also, this is for the Valley of the Sons in Chandler, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, he lives there in Chandler. I live in Iowa, so I'm just trying to help out.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, what is your uncle's name for reference, please?
He is John Daybell.
Your last name?
Well, D-A-B-A-L.
Okay.
The same. John.
Do you have a middle name?
Myron.
M-Y-R-O-N?
Yeah.
And Chad, what is your phone number in case we get disconnected?
Yes. This number, 515, I don't actually know my own number. Let me look real quick.
Thank you.
So I understand that Lori's your sister, and obviously I was assigned the death investigation. I'm just trying to get, I guess, any type of insight that you might have.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot there. About maybe a year or two ago, Lori started reading some books and near-death experience books, and started saying some weird things. Yeah, I don't know if you know a lot about the LDS religion, but we're LDS, and so she started, I think, listening to podcasts and some people who were LDS and now have been excommunicated from our church.
Okay.
And so she started following them, and then she started saying some really weird things. And my son moved there and was living with her and Charles.
Okay.
And he heard some of the same weird things that I did. And so some of those things were that she, talks to Jesus in the temple, and she's married to Moroni, and she's not married to Charles anymore, and that she has a higher priesthood than the rest of us, and just some things that were alarming to me. And because I told her that I thought those were alarming, and she goes, "You think I'm crazy, don't you?" And I was like, "I don't know if you're crazy, but none of that makes any sense to me." And after I told her that, she she cut me off, and me and her were closer than anybody in the family.
Okay.
And she just stopped talking to me altogether. I haven't talked to her in over a year and a half.
Okay.
And then she cut off some of my family from communication as well when they thought that she was saying some things, and she just went off into some other tangent, and so she's with another group that is called Preparing for the End or something like that. But the things that caught me that were shocking was her telling Charles that Charles is dead, and she knows that there was another guy named Ned that was living in Charles's body, and he was an inch shorter, and that Charles couldn't fool her anymore because he was an inch shorter. It was really alarming to me that she said Charles was dead and that some guy named Ned was living in her body. She talks about people having dark spirits that she can see, and she knows who has dark spirits and when there's dark spirits around, and just a lot of crazy stuff. And so when I told my family, I was like, look, I'm really concerned about Lori. I think she needs to go to a psychiatrist, or something needs to be happened. And my mom and dad had told me, they said, well, she's disconnected from reality because that's the only reality that she feels she can live in, and she's not hurting anybody. And when they told me that, I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just stay away. I won't try to confront her, because Charles, for about a year, or after they got divorced or were going to get divorced, called me and saying, I'm telling you, your sister has gone off the deep end. And I said, what? So he told me all the things that she had told him, and he would just call me sobbing, crying, because he didn't have the same wife anymore, didn't have the same Lori. And my whole family cut him off because Lori told them, do not talk to Charles. Okay. And I was the only one that took Charles's phone calls, and I live in Kansas.
Gotcha.
And I felt bad for Charles. And so I said, Charles, I'll do what I can to help, but Lori won't talk to me because she thinks I think she's crazy. So, anyways, through all this, Charles said, well, something has to be done, because she thinks that she talked Melanie, who's our niece, and she's part of this group now where they go and they're preparing for the end of the world or something. And so she's got her on this, and then she said that her husband was gay, that she went to the temple and prayed about it, that he's gay, and Brandon is not gay. So Melanie left Brandon and just divorced him, and Lori said, oh, yeah, I prayed about it, he's gay. So Brandon was upset that Lori's interfering with their lives. So Charles had told me Lori is ruining people's lives by just, saying stupid, crazy things. And so he goes, something's got to be done. So he wanted me to fly out there and meet with the stake president, because I know their stake president in our church. And I said, all right, I'll go out there and meet. And he says, I'll just put you on my miles and I'll fly you out there, but don't tell Lori or tell your family that I'm flying you out there, or Lori will run. She won't talk to you. And I was like, okay. So I flew out to Arizona, and I stayed with my mom and dad, and I told them that I got the airline tickets from my wife, Nicole, that she put it on her points, right? So while I'm there in Arizona, I'm at my mom and dad's house, and Charles was supposed to go pick up JJ on Thursday morning. Well, he texts me like at 7:30 in the morning, and he said, Alex is here. And back up a little bit, on Tuesday, I called Alex and I said, hey, because me and Charles, it was getting my ticket. I said, hey, I'm coming to Arizona. Him and I used to spend time together, and he comes out here. He's a truck driver, and he's also sucked into Lori's whatever she tells him he believes, and so he's listening to all these podcasts, and he's fallen into whatever she says. He's all about it. And so I said, look, I'd like to spend some time with you. How about if I spend the night at your house instead of mom and dad's house? He said, yeah, I'll go buy a mattress, and a blow-up mattress. He can stay in in my room, in one of his bedrooms. And I said, oh, that'd be great. So I get in on Wednesday, and I called Alex, and he never answers the phone or returns any of my calls. And I thought, that's really weird. So I spent the night at my mom and dad's that night. And I asked him, I said, well, what are you doing home? He goes, I took this week off. I said, well, why'd you take the week off? He goes, I don't know, I'm just working around the house. And usually when my brother takes a week off of vacation, he goes to Colombia to be with women. Okay. So I thought it was very strange that he took a whole week off just to hang out at his house. I said, that doesn't make any sense. So when Charles texts me, Alex is here. I said, that sounds weird. Why is he at Lori's house? I said, be on the lookout or something. They could be up to something. And Charles texted me back, absolutely. So next thing I know, Charles would call me and text me all the time, like during the week. And I was the only one that would talk to him. And I felt, you know, he just was distraught over this whole thing with Lori. So Thursday, after he texted all that, I drove my mom and dad to the temple and dropped them off in car, and I went and got my son, and we hang out. And I didn't hear from him all day Thursday. And I thought, well, that's really weird. So I called. I think I either texted him or called him, and he didn't answer. And then on Friday, same thing. I called him, texted him, and I said, it's just so weird that I haven't heard from Charles. I wonder what's wrong with Charles. And where is he? What's he doing? I haven't heard from him. And that whole day went by. Well, Saturday, me and my son went to Tucson to be hang out with my friend Eric. So as we drove to Tucson, I thought, I have a really bad feeling in my stomach. Like, what would happen if you know, Charles went in? And I literally told this to my son, and then when I got to Tucson, I told this to my friend. I said, what if Alex and Lori did something to Charles? And because he doesn't have his phone, and he's always on his phone. And I just said, I have a sick feeling. So when I went to Tucson, I told my friend Eric, I was like, I don't know, there's something really weird going on, because I told him the whole situation, and Charles had not called. And I said, this is really weird. And so Eric, on a whim, Googles Charles's name. He goes, well, what's his name? I said, Charles Vallow. And he says, it says here that he got shot and killed by his brother-in-law in Chandler. I said, what? And I read the article. I broke down and started crying because I said, I felt like something was wrong. And Eric was like, oh, my. I mean, we were literally in shock. Nobody called me. Not my mom and dad, not my brother, not my sister. My sister Summer was in New York at the time. So, and my son Zach was watching my sister Summer's dog. We were in charge of her house. So I drove home, and I was talking to my mom and dad when I was driving home. I was like, we got to talk. And my mom got all mad at me, and she goes, we sure do. And so when I got to my mom and dad's house, Tylee was there. And Tylee was standing at the edge of the counter, and she was quiet. And Tylee's always hugging me and saying hi to me. She looked like she did not want to say a word to me, and was just talking to my mom. And me and Zach, my son, came in and sat down, and they had a conversation between the two of them without me being able to hear what they were saying. And then my mom, Tylee and my mom.
Okay.
And so Tylee and my mom then, my mom walked Tylee to the end of the hallway, and Tylee left, got in her Jeep and left. And my mom came in, and she goes, how dare you not, say anything to her after what she's been through? And then I snapped, and I screamed, and I said, Charles is dead, and nobody in the family has said a word about it, and it's been 3 days. And then my mom snapped on me and says, get your stuff and get out. And so my mom and my mom and my dad have a great relationship. We have never fought. We've never cursed at each other. We've never had any problems. That, for like 30 minutes in their house, we screamed at each other. It just all came out. I was so mad that nobody told me that Alex shot Charles and what happened. And nobody told me anything about what happened. And so when that went down, me and Zach got our stuff, and we went over to Summer's house, and I called Summer. And I told Summer what happened. I said, you don't know that Charles is dead? And she goes, no. But I knew that she did because the way that she reacted. So my mom told me on Friday when I was at their house, she said, I know that you and Charles were texting and emailing. I saw every text and every email that you were trying to get Lori in trouble at the church. And that shocked me because I said, well, how could you have, if Charles got shot and the phone is there and the police got the phone, how did you have time to go through every text and every email that me and Charles had? Which makes me believe that, in my opinion, my theory is that Lori and Alex got together, and Lori convinced Alex that Charles is not Charles anymore, that he's this guy named Ned, and that they shot him. I don't even think there was a fight or anything. I just think that because Charles texted me at 7:33 and went into the house. And then from what I read on the reports or whatever, it says that the police were called at 8 or something about him getting shot. And I thought, why would Alex be at Lori's anyways? And why would he have a gun in the house? And why wouldn't he call 911? Charles is not going to hurt anybody. He's not going to go crazy on anybody. And Alex is an expert shooter. He's got tons of guns. He goes shooting all the time. He knows how to kill somebody. And he shot 2 shots to his chest to make sure he wasn't dead. And then, or to make sure he was dead. And this was my theory.
Yeah.
And then try to cover it up by trying to do mouth-to-mouth. Who does mouth-to-mouth after someone tries to kill you and then you shoot them? I mean, there's so many things that don't, there's so many red flags that, and I don't know if you can, there's proof of anything, but did Alex get hit with a baseball bat?
He had an injury to the back of his head. Now, he alleges it was from the baseball bat. You know, I can't prove one way or another right now whether or not it was, but he alleges that Charles hit him in the back of the head with a baseball bat.
And so did he get a concussion, or did he go to the hospital? Was there stitches?
There was a cut to the back of the head. He did not go to the hospital. So we brought him back here and interviewed him. And then, you know, not having any reason, at least at the time, to hold him, released him from there. The reason that I'm positive they were able to see all of your texts and emails is because Lori had Charles's phone, and we had to get it back from her, shoot, a couple hours after she was released, so she had time to go through his phone.
But my mom knew about this on Friday.
Yeah, but so they had Charles's phone when she left. Basically, she left her house, and then came back. She dropped JJ off at school sometime around this incident. She says right after the incident happened, she was in a panic and left and took JJ to school and then came back. We brought her down and interviewed her, Tylee, and Alex, and then released them from here. And then as we were processing the scene, we're like, well, where's Charles's phone? So we called Lori, and she's like, oh, I have it, and brought it back to us a couple hours later. So she had his phone on Thursday right after the incident for, 4 hours.
Just to let you know, Charles never leaves his phone anywhere. He's always has it with him. Yeah. So for her to say that he left it there and she got his phone, that did not happen.
Yeah.
That did not happen. Charles has his phone on him all the time. So, which then believes that they had planned something and Charles walked in. So how is Tylee, what did she, I don't even know what happened. Like, none of my family has talked to me because supposedly I was on Charles's side to try to get Lori help. My whole family has not told me one thing about this incident.
So what the report was is that Al basically stayed the night there the night before and they were planning on going and doing something for the day, him, Lori, and Tylee. That Charles came and got JJ and basically got into a screaming match and was yelling and screaming at Lori. And then they say that Tylee basically brought a baseball bat out from her room and was kind of standing next to Lori, and had it kind of holding it in defense of Lori as Charles was yelling at her. They say that Charles yanked the baseball bat out of her hand, that Alex got involved and basically intervened during that altercation. Alex got hit with the bat. He went back to his room, got the gun, and then came back and basically challenged Charles. Charles came after him with the bat again, and that's when he shot and killed him.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. That just is like... And did Tylee see the whole thing?
They say that she was, they said that she was just outside of the house at the time the shooting happened, is where she puts herself.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. None. Zero. That is like, and this is my brother and sister, and I love them with all my heart. But I'm telling you, there's something wrong about Lori and Alex and this belief that they have. And, Lori thinks that death is nothing. And it's odd that Joe, her ex-husband, supposedly died of a heart attack when they were desperate for money. And he left her $50,000, and Tylee gets $2,000, and then Charles has a $2 million. It's just, there's a lot of red flags for me, and that story does not make sense. Charles does not leave his phone anywhere.
Yeah.
So which makes me believe that is there cameras at the houses around there that could see the street or anything?
I found one Ring doorbell, but I think the fence was outside of it, so I haven't been able to find a single camera in the neighborhood that would help me walk through a timeline of any of this.
Yeah.
So, I have the same, just the what if they brought him there to set him up type thing, and I just don't.
Yeah.
It's a matter of making our way through it. So.
Yeah, to me, it's just I don't. You don't have to shoot and kill Charles. You call 911. He's not going to. It's just all of it sounds way too crazy to me.
Yeah.
And set up and staged. Al, he lives so close to them. He doesn't have to spend the night at Lori's house. He could drive over there, and they can go somewhere during the day. That's definitely a lie.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know how you can prove it or what the proof can be. That's the whole problem is I'm sure they plan. I don't know if you can, if they've ever emailed each other or text each other or they just plan this out by just talking. I don't know. But there's got to be somewhere where they've talked this through because Lori and Alex planned Joe's death. And Lori found out that Joe molested her kids supposedly. And Alex got upset, and Al said, "I'll take care of him." And then they planned out how they were going to kill Joe, and Al was going to taser him, throw him in the trunk, and take him out to a field and shoot him, and then bury him. Well, Al went to taser him, and it didn't work, and Joe called the cops, and Al went to jail for 12 months. Yeah. So there's something with Lori and Alex that neither one of them are. Well, Alex is excommunicated from the church, and so he believes Lori because Lori's like, it doesn't matter what you do in this world. All you have to do is have a body, and you can be saved. You're just here to get a body. And Al loves that because then he can go sin and do whatever he wants. So he loves to hear what Lori has to tell him. And so I'm just telling you, man to man, and I love my family, but Justice, poor Charles, he didn't deserve to die at all. He was so upset about the way Lori was doing that, and so the way that she changed, the things that she said, and the odd behavior, and just I was the only one that would sit and listen to him cry and be upset about it, and everybody listened to Lori and my family, and just they shut him off. He couldn't talk to anybody, and he paid for everybody in the family. He paid for everybody's phone. He bought cars. I mean, even my mom and dad. And it's just odd that my mom sent my wife a text on Friday. She didn't tell us that Charles was dead. She didn't tell us anything was happening. She knew that I flew out there on Charles's points, and she sent a message to my wife going, "Thank you so much for sending Adam out here using your points to fly out." Why would she say that?
Right.
I think my mom knows something, and she's trying to cover up for those two. And Tylee definitely has to know something, and it doesn't make any sense that JJ's in the car when this whole thing happened, and after you shoot somebody, you get in the car and you drive to take him to school.
Yeah.
Well, and you probably know all this.
I share them with you.
Yeah.
Share them with you. So...
and I don't know if you've seen the emails that Charles sent, but he talks about all the crazy things that Lori has said, to him.
He got a copy of an order of protection petition that he got that outlines some of those allegations.
And he went to our stake president, and there's a lot of stuff. And then I guess they had $10,000 in cash somewhere for an emergency, and Lori took $7,100 out and tried to blame Charles, and said that he took it. And I don't know. I just feel like they're trying to get Charles's. And I don't know. Charles tried to get a divorce from Lori, and she disappeared for 58 days. Nobody knew where she was. Not her family. She didn't tell anybody in her family. She didn't tell anybody because she didn't want Charles to actually divorce her. And I think it's because she wanted to keep that policy alive. Yeah. And so all the behavior is so strange that nobody in the family, not even her daughter, knew where she was, and she was in Hawaii apparently this whole time.
Yeah, and Tylee was staying with Alex at the time, right?
Yeah. So those three are thicker than thieves, but I bet you Tylee could break if you got to her. I don't know what she would say, but gosh, there's something that's really wrong about that.
Yeah, I like I said, I have a lot of concerns, and it's been going through. Like, I have Charles's phone now, so I've been going through the phones because he said that he was going to record his interaction with her, but there isn't a recording. So I don't know if they deleted it or if he didn't actually run the recorder. I don't know.
Is there a way to get deleted messages or deleted things or no?
We're able to restore some of them, but his phone, like he said, he was on it all the time. His phone's 80 gigabytes worth of data.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, there's just so much in there that it's mind numbing to sit and try to go through it. And I actually met with one of our computer forensic guys on Friday, and then ended up getting called away for something different. But me trying to see if he could find like something that I might be missing in the download of the phone and stuff. So
well, I know that was the thing because people weren't believing him, and Lori said that he had an affair, and so some girl called him, and I said, I want to believe Lori. And I said, well, I didn't get to talk to her, but this is what she told my mom. And I was like, well, I would like to see the receipt that supposedly he had, sex with prostitutes. And I also would like to hear from the girl that called Lori. And my mom was like, well, that's not none of your business. I said, yeah, but if you want me to believe that Charles had an affair, because Charles cried to me and swore to me that he didn't. And I believe him. And maybe he's lying, I don't know, but the way that Lori has been telling fibs and crazy things out of her mouth, I don't believe one thing that comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a situation, and so, I mean, I literally lost my family over this. My mom and dad will not talk to me. They told me to get out of their house, me and my son both, who we were like the most loved in our family by everybody. And because I have logic, normal logic, you want to be on your family's side, but when right is right, right's right, and wrong is wrong. Yeah. And for them to believe that, oh, Al's a hero, he saved Tylee. Charles would never hurt anybody like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
looking
into it, it doesn't seem like Charles has ever had any type of violent past whatsoever.
No, none. To me, Lori and Alex planned this out. They knew Charles was coming to get JJ. Somehow, Tylee was in her room or somewhere, or outside or whatever. They shot him. They killed him. And I don't know if it was for money or if they thought he was that evil spirit named Ned. And Lori can't deny any of that. She said that to a lot of people. And so, I mean, I don't know, that's what I know, and that's, I know there's a lot of red flags, and I know in court you probably can't prove things on red flags, but there's got to be something about that baseball bat. I even think that Lori hit Alex with the baseball bat after they killed Charles.
Yeah, well, that possibility is definitely there. I mean, Charles, even for his age, was in great shape, and, you could tell it wasn't. It didn't appear to be that type of injury of a grown man swinging a bat. Like I said, when they got back to drop off the phone. Al hadn't even gone to the hospital. He had some medical tape basically around the cut on the back of his head. And that's that. So
Yeah, there's a lot. I just want to make sure that you got my side, my wife's side, because she also, it just, all my friend Eric that knows everybody that lives in Tucson, everybody's gut feeling is that, this was not self-protection from Al.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have spent the night. He shouldn't have taken that week off of work. I mean, when you think about it, it was literally planned out for this whole thing to happen. In my opinion.
Yeah. No, like I said, I have the same concerns. So we're still actively investigating it and going through it all. And
In the month of September 2019, 2 months after Charles' death, Tylee was last seen in Yellowstone National Park, and JJ was last seen on video surveillance playing outside with his neighbors. That same month, Chad would send 2 text messages to his wife Tammy saying, Special Agent Benjamin Dean would state this was extremely unusual compared to the couple's regular text messages. Further information would reveal Alex Cox's phone was pinged in the exact location Chad was referring to. As Lori would grow closer and closer to Chad and spend more and more time with her niece Melanie Pawlowski and her good friend Melanie Gibb, the group would often practice obscure magic rituals to which Melanie Gibb claimed the group would call them castings, and they often decided who were zombies and who were dark souls.
And that was the night she came up with this idea, this map thing of zombies in the world. Arizona, Utah, Idaho, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then she's like, okay, Chad says, and she'd be on the phone, how many zombies in this state?
She called him by name, Chad.
I knew she was talking to him.
How'd you know he was talking to him?
Well, I just did. I just did. I mean, I just did. I don't know. I knew it. I'm sure she did, but I just know she was talking to him. Who else was she going to get this information from?
I don't know.
The idea was, it was for her to get rid of the zombies. The idea was for her thought she had the power to cast out, she'd say in the name of whatever and with her power. And then he would check. Oh, there's none left in the state, So anyway, that's how she did. So anyway, I remember that conversation was kind of going on that night. And then, I don't know the heck they were talking about that night. I don't know who. I'm sure it was Charles. And I think it was probably for the world too. It probably was. And anyway, everybody was just holding hands. And anyway, they all said their little, whatever they could come up with, they think of that would help encourage this spirit to leave, or encourage them. And it wasn't done it didn't seem like it was done out of any unkindness or anything like that. It was just a matter of, like, if you were to invite somebody to leave. I think they started using different weapons that had light in them to help that encourage that spirit to come out of the body by those words, but it had no power. So I haven't worried about it since I've left Lori. I was like, she didn't have any power. She can't hurt me. I'm not worried about her. So obviously I didn't believe in it to the level of worrying about my life, right? So
on October 2nd, 2019, police would receive a distraught 911 call from a man named Brandon Boudreau. Brandon had been going through a divorce with Melanie Pawlowski and would eventually move to a remote location to which only Melanie had information about.
October 2nd, 2019, 9 hours, 14 minutes, 53 seconds.
911, where's your emergency?
Someone just shot my window.
Okay, where at?
I'm in the Cooley State away, but I can see them driving off.
Okay, someone shot at your vehicle?
Yeah, and it hit my window. It shattered my driver's side window.
Okay, when you pulled into his driveway?
As I was trying to pull into my driveway. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm a little off breath. They just drove off. I saw them drive off.
Okay. Do you know who these people are?
I have no idea. I moved into a new home about a week ago.
That's all right. Oh, which way did they go? Do you remember?
They're driving south towards Pecos Road, between Pecos and Wrecker.
Okay. Okay. Do you don't see the vehicle anymore?
No, they left. They drove off.
Hi there. So what's going on?
Someone shot my window out.
Okay, give me a little bit more than that.
Yeah, so I was just pulling in.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed a green Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
It's like a pukey green color. Had a Texas plate. I just moved in like a week ago, so I thought maybe it was just my neighbor.
Okay.
So as I was kind of pulling in, they lifted their like back window.
Okay.
I saw a muzzle. They shot.
Are we talking a real gun,
I don't-
BB gun?
It's got to be like a BB gun or an airsoft.
Okay,
It was
so
loud.
they shot, then what happened?
It hit my window, and instead of turning in, it scared me really bad.
Okay.
I thought, I'm getting shot at, so I drove straight. So I
Okay.
drove straight really fast.
Okay.
Pulled around the corner, got my phone out, called 911, sat there, drove a little further up. I watched them come around the corner.
What do you mean coming around the corner? Come around the corner where?
So I drove up there. I drove
Okay.
to this street.
Gotcha.
made a right, went a little further.
Okay.
Parked by, there's a park right there.
So he went northbound on that street.
Turned right, and I watched him turn right down here, and I knew there was only one way out of this neighborhood.
Okay.
It was on Pecos and Wrecker, so I told that to the dispatcher.
Okay, so he was on Wrecker. He went, but you don't know if he went onto Pecos. You just know Wrecker Road.
He didn't get on Wrecker. He stayed on this, and he came out on. He had to have gone out on Pecos because that's the only way.
Oh, he stayed in the neighborhood. He did not go out to Wrecker. I got you covered. Okay.
And I was nervous, so I was kind of waiting because I didn't want him to follow me.
So we don't know where, if he went on Pecos, left, right.
I don't. I didn't follow him anymore. I was a little uncomfortable.
Okay. 11 Paul 22, just for information on units, left the neighborhood south toward Pecos and unknown from that location. Okay.
So it was really loud, so that's why I didn't think it was a BB gun, but it could have been maybe
well, let's look.
Brandon would state he didn't think it was a real gun that was being fired at him. He claimed to have vividly recalled seeing the extended muzzle of the gun before hearing to what he claimed to be a paintball gun, when in reality it was indeed a real gun that was being fired at him. This may prove plausible if the shooter had a suppressor on their weapon. A suppressor will muffle the sound of the shot, but will still cause a loud bang. Brandon states he just moved in and recalls the green Jeep Wrangler waiting for him in front of his house. We know there's only one person that knew his exact address, his ex-wife Melanie Pulowski.
So you were just pulling into the driveway, they were sitting here.
Yeah, so I was
So were they facing then west? Because if they opened the back?
Yeah, he opened the back, and there had been two people, I think.
Okay.
Quick. They were parked right here.
Right, facing that way.
Facing towards this van.
Gotcha.
And so my window was like perfectly aligned because I was kind of starting to pull in.
Okay, so you didn't totally pull in yet. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You can see my window. It shattered, but it didn't go through, which means it couldn't have been a real bullet. I didn't think about that for a second.
Whoa, hello. Is that
Sorry, my
who's?
car automatically-
Okay, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, oh wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Is this going to shut on me if I get close?
No, because I'll
Okay.
put the key inside.
Well, I don't think that's a BB gun.
One friend calling us, engine on 459. It's been holding for over 2 hours.
Alright. Alright, so you just moved in.
Yeah.
Okay, you just moved. Okay, so was this a vacant home at the time?
Previously, yeah.
Okay.
It's a rental.
All right. So you're the owner though, right now? Or you you're okay? So you're just renting it. Did the owners of the house? Can I open?
Yeah.
Is this how do you open this door? Go ahead.
Right.
Ah, look at you.
Sorry.
That's pretty sweet.
112, Officer Taylor.
Anyway, did the owners of the house say anything to you who was renting the house before you or anything?
No.
Do you have any enemies? Anybody that you...
I just went through a divorce. There was some crazy stuff that happened with her aunt killed her husband, but I would hope that has nothing to do with this.
Okay. Did you live here in the valley before? Where'd you move from?
10 years.
I'm sorry?
I've lived here for 10 years.
Okay, so you moved, where'd you move from? Here in Gilbert,
I just
or?
sold a house over on Quinn, just right by that.
Okay. And no issues at work, no issues, enemies or anything?
Okay. Other than the only people that I could even think of would be that group. But
The family?
Yeah.
Your ex-wives?
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of weird. So what would you say, how many minutes before you called us did this happen?
I just called right as soon as it happened.
Okay, fantastic. Now, were you able to, because you're coming in, they're facing that way, so you're not going to be able to see. When they passed you, when you were parked, were you able to see any description of these people? Is that a guy, a girl, anything? Okay.
I was trying to make sure I had enough distance in case they shot at me.
Okay. And you said you could see the barrel. You think it was a long rifle, not a handgun?
Yeah, and it had like some kind of like a silencer or something on it.
Okay.
That's why it's like maybe it wasn't a gun but it was so loud.
Okay.
Can I sit down?
Sure. Do you have I was going to say, do you have a chair or something that we can get you?
I have some chairs. I just want to sit down.
Okay, sure, no problem at all.
It's kind of hit me, you know.
Is there anybody else here? Are you the only person that lives here? Is there anybody here that...
My kids live here with me.
Okay. No other adults? Okay, is there somebody we can call to come here to be with you?
Yeah, in a minute.
Okay, you go ahead and you take your time, whatever you need, okay? Can I get you a bottle of water?
I got one over there. I'm fine. I just want to sit down.
Sure, no problem at all.
Here with you, buddy?
No.
I just want to verify only one shot, right?
One shot.
That you heard of and that you know of, right?
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm asking is I just want to make sure it didn't go anywhere else. I'm pretty sure it's stuck in the frame there. Yeah, I just want to make sure there's nothing else that I need to be looking for either.
One shot. I drove
okay.
Quick. They were surprised, I think, as much as I was.
Okay.
They probably thought they were going to hit me. I mean, it was...
Okay. So you know what we're doing. I'm going to get a bunch of cops here. We're going to walk down the street just to see if we see any shell casings or anything like that. I don't think I'm going to see it because it probably stayed in the Jeep.
It was very professional, whatever they were doing.
Okay. So I'm just going to do that just to make sure of everything. Did your camera, did it get anything?
I didn't have it turned on. I just installed it, so I didn't have the recording turned on.
Okay. All right.
This is my friend. Okay, if he's here.
Yeah, if he can just stay down there, yep, that's perfect. He's got his friend coming up right here, too.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the line search just to let you know.
Yeah, that's what you just said.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for them to get here, and then we'll do it.
Perfect.
And at the same time, we'll look for any other cameras. So he's saying one shot. So, going off.
Meanwhile, Chad would continue his on and off relationship with Lori, all while still being married to Tammy. Tammy was thought to have no idea of her husband's affair at the time. One day, Chad would claim he awoken and saw a vision. Chad would detail to Lori and Melanie Gibb that he witnessed Tammy passing away in a car crash during her out-of-state trip. When Tammy made it to her destination safely, Chad would persuade the group that Tammy did indeed die, but she is now a dark soul.
So it was really loud, so that's why I didn't think BB gun, but it could have been maybe
Well, let's look.
And I don't know if you know this or not, does your brother normally carry a gun? Like, I carry a gun everywhere I go.
Right. Like, I know he's a gun person. Like, he has guns and things.
Okay.
He's good with guns.
Did you know that he had one with him?
No.
When he came over?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because he's very, very professional with guns.
On October 19, 2019, Tammy Daybell would suddenly pass away in her sleep. Her death was questioned by many, and the entire family, including Chad, would refuse to have an autopsy done. The coroner agreed, and Tammy Daybell's death was ruled due to natural causes. The children of Tammy would open up to CBS 1 year later.
They told me that she'd been asphyxiated. It's hard to process, but I just still can't believe that he would do such a thing.
It's completely unthinkable. My dad loved my mom very, very much, and she loved him. She would get out of breath very quickly and would get very tired, and she started going to bed very early at night.
Given the surrounding circumstances, Tammy's death were changed from natural cause to suspicious, and her body has since been exhumed, and the results of her autopsy has yet to be released to the public. Less than a month later, after Tammy's death, Chad and Lori would eventually get married on November 5th, 2019. On November 15, 2019, police received a call from Brandon Boudreau claiming his ex-wife Melanie Pawlowski was in front of his house demanding to see the kids. Brandon has since gotten a restraining order against Melanie, and the police were called to the scene to trespass Melanie.
Officers, I have a legal mediation agreement. My kids have been held out of state.
You were also criminally trespassed over the phone by me.
I asked an officer to come here last night to do a check-in because I'm worried they're in danger.
But you came over here after being told that you were criminally trespassed.
But I have an agreement saying that...
From this residence, correct?
But my order says that it's my time with my kids. They're supposed to be in Arizona. My husband's kept them out of school for
from this
over a month.
location.
I just need my kids, and you're welcome to look at this order. They've been out of state, out of school, and my husband's lied to everybody. I'm sure he lied to the cop last night. This is my
We've been
order.
in contact with...
Do you have a victim's advocate I can speak to in the police department, please?
Okay.
Melanie, so where did you get this order from?
So this is our mediation order.
Okay.
I also have another copy of the original copy of the court. This is my time with the kids. My husband's been hiding with them over a month out of state.
Yeah, we talked to you the other day, right?
Yes. So
And
I
we
asked
told
for
you,
somebody to come in and check in on them to just make sure they're safe because my husband will, or my ex-husband will not talk to me.
So we told you they were safe yesterday, right, on the phone?
You said that
we saw
on the phone, but
kids.
they are supposed to be in my custody right now. Yeah, they are. There's no...
Okay, hey, right now, we're working through something else, okay?
So
if you just want to
he's
step
lied
inside,
to
we'll come
everyone
talk
saying
to
he
you in a
has.
moment, okay?
He said he's had a protection order against them, and there was nothing. I've never been served with anything. He's lied to everybody, and he kind of does this. So
what were you wanting to happen tonight? Coming over here, were you going to try to take the kids away from them, or what's going on?
No, I'm not taking. I'm just trying to show that I was going to bring this copy to them and say this is my time with the kids.
Okay.
He's had them out of state, and he's been lying to everyone's protecting them. Like, I know they're nice. My in-laws are nice people, but they've been lied to, saying that there's a protection order in place, and there isn't. My kids are. I'm worried they're in danger because my husband's been doing a lot of things that cause me to worry. He says he was shot at a month ago, and then he went into hiding, and no one in Arizona has seen him for weeks or my children, and he kept them out for over a month with truant absences. I asked an officer to just come over here last night to just make sure they're safe, and he said, I can't do a welfare check or a
wellness check.
So did
for
you
some
not hear
reason.
me when I was talking? We were talking to you on the phone the other day, and said we came here because you were here. We came here. We checked on the kids. They were
Are you talking about
okay.
yesterday or
Yeah.
the day before?
The day before. The day
I
before.
heard and I had to call in because I didn't know if that was. I just heard something on speaker. I didn't hear everything I heard. It wasn't super clear, and so I called in the next day and I said, "Can you? Because I don't want to have to go over there again. Can you send an officer to come check in?"
Came over here anyways when we told you that you
Well,
were
I have
trespassing. It
I
doesn't
have
matter,
illegal,
right?
Well, my children are inside and they're
understand that,
probably in
right?
danger.
They're probably in danger. You know that for sure. Like.
Well, I know what my ex is capable of, and he has a lot of evil people working with him. So I just wanted to make sure my kids were safe last night, and the officer.
So do you think
so
this
I need to
was
speak
the
to a
right?
victim's advocate.
Okay.
If you can.
But you were trespassed, correct? You remember that on the phone?
I
asked you if you understood. You stated you did. So.
Okay.
So you understand you're trespassed, right?
Yes, but I believe with my order, I can come and just get my. I'm
Nope.
not going in.
Nope.
Not going into the house.
Nope.
I'm just.
You're trespassed from the property. You being on the lawn right now is a violation of that trespass.
Well, I can get off.
Well, it doesn't
Just-
really matter now.
I'm not trying to barge into their house or try and take my. I'm just trying to be peacefully, trying to do what's right and what's in my order.
Is this an order from Arizona?
Yes, it is. They're illegally out of state right now. Like he's keeping them out of school for over a month. I've been searching for them. I don't know what else to do. I asked someone to just come over and see if they're safe last night, and Carlson probably scared them off, saying there's a protection order, and there's no protection order. We can go and look everything up right now.
Okay.
I haven't seen or talked to my kids. I have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and they haven't seen their mom for over. And my husband's been doing drugs, and he's.
Well, this is probably not the best way to go about it, right? To come here and try to.
I tried asking if an officer could just make sure they're safe.
And we told you
but
they were
I was
safe,
told
right?
I have a mediation. I have this court order saying it's my time with the kids. If I know where they're at, I can go and get them.
No, so you can't come over here and forcefully take them.
Not forcefully. I'm just knocking, saying
over here
I'm
and forcefully
just going to give them an
take
order
them
because
out,
I know
right?
they've been lied to, saying there's a protection.
That's something that you're going to have to take up with the courts, right? Like we told you the other day. You're going to have to go to
I
the
don't know if
courts.
they're safe, and I feel like they're in danger.
We can go in there and check and see if they're safe. And then we can come back here and we can tell you they're safe. Stop talking. Stop talking, okay? We can go in there, check if they're safe, but we already trespassed you from this property saying you can't come back here. And what you do, you came back here. And it doesn't matter if you got this piece of paper. We told you not to come back here, and you come back here and you're upsetting everybody, and now it's just a whole freaking problem. So your whole thing is here is you want to come here and check if they're safe? You want a welfare check on them?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Well, and it's my time with
Yeah, so that's another problem, right? So this is a whole civil problem. This is a whole court thing, okay? Because even if you do come here with these papers and say, yep, it's my time, they're not giving them back to me, then the only thing you got to do is go to the courts and you got to say, hey, listen, if these are signed by a judge down there in the court or whatever, he can say, you know what, this is your time, let's get this back in court, let's have him come back to court, let's do this, then we can give you a report number, and we can stop talking, okay, I'm explaining some things, okay? Are you understanding what I'm saying?
I am, sir.
So this isn't the best way to go about things.
Yes, sir.
You can bring up everything to the judge. You think he's doing drugs and that he's been getting shot at and that it's not a safe environment for your kids. But what you can't do is come to a place where you've been trespassed.
Yes, sir. I just thought with my order, then I can just. It's okay. Thank you.
So now there's a bigger problem here because we trespassed you and you weren't supposed to be on here and you're causing alarm to them and everything like that. Who's your judge down there? You don't know your judge? Who signed your papers? Where'd you even get these papers from?
They were mailed to me.
You live in Arizona?
Yes, sir.
Was this done in mediation or in court? Because I don't see anything.
It's a court ordered. So
I don't see anything signed by a
That's
judge.
what I was looking
I
at.
have the copy with more signatures if you need to see that. This was just for them. I was just bringing them to them because I know they've been lied
This
to.
is a mediated settlement agreement, not a court order.
Yes, the court mediation was.
Well, if it was done through mediation, it's not through the court. That just means that you guys sat down with the mediator, you agreed on something. This is not something that's been enforced by a judge.
It has, sir. I have the paperwork in my car.
So you guys went to court, you
Yes,
sat
sir.
there with the judge
Yes,
made
sir.
a determination.
Let's grab that real quick so I can
Yes,
see what
absolutely,
kind of
sir.
judge that
and
is.
I have a. Yeah. Sir, for him to check, like with a picture or something, just to make sure it is that.
A notable moment when dissecting this footage is the distance in which Melanie parked as if she didn't want to be noticed. The officers approached the vehicle and we quickly understand why they decided to park so far.
Behind the truck?
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody with you?
Yes, sir.
What's his name?
Alex Cox.
What's up, Alex? You have your ID on you, man?
Pretty good, dude. Not bad. You guys came all the way from Arizona? No. Oh, where were you coming from?
Idaho.
Oh, Idaho. That's right.
Go ahead.
Do you live in Idaho?
Yeah, I just moved up there.
As Alex intentionally avoids eye contact with the officer, some would argue Alex was the one who tried to assassinate Brandon. That would also explain why Alex waited in the car instead of attending Melanie to retrieve her kids.
From where? From Arizona. Oh, what the heck?
Apparently that was too warm.
Idaho's a big change.
It's a good change. It's nice.
Alright, here's your ID back, man.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it, man. No problem. I can turn the dome light on if I want.
Well, I'd keep my light out of your face, probably. I'm just, with everybody here, we can watch her, and then all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I got somebody out here. We're like, whoa, just let's make sure everybody's safe and okay. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so.
I'm not moving.
Cool.
None of that.
Yeah.
Melanie proceeds to enter the vehicle and they both drive off into the night. However, since Melanie was committing a crime by trespassing on Brandon's property, she was soon taken into custody where she was given a citation and released days later.
Is your uncle still out there?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. All right.
So do you have anything on you that would be considered illegal in a correctional facility? Drugs, knives?
Any weapons, guns, knives, alcohol, drugs, anything like that? All right. I can go give these to your uncle. You probably want this to have some contact information and stuff. They can hold this at the jail for you, or if you want your. Do you know phone numbers off of this and everything? So.
Do you want to take that with so that way when you are released you can make contact?
Yeah.
Okay. Are these cuffs too tight?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and double lock them so they don't cinch up on right over to the jail, okay?
On November 26, 2019, Charles' sister, Kay Woodcock, and her husband, Larry, would constantly ask to see the children, to which Lori would refuse. Police would issue a welfare check on Tylee and JJ since no one had seen them since September.
Hi, you Lori. Lori, I'm Lieutenant Ball, Police Department. How are you? You got a minute? You alone, or that help? Or?
My brother's here.
Okay. This is Detective Scouts.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
So, we're here.
Wow, this is a big mess. I just talked to the guy on the phone.
And what did he ask you?
He was just saying that he wanted to do a well check on JJ.
So, JJ would be where?
He's in Arizona.
Who's he with in Arizona?
He's with one of my friends in Arizona.
Oh.
Hi.
Oh, you got a notepad?
No? Want me to get one?
No. Come here. You mind if he comes in?
No, come on in.
So,
Sorry.
who's the friend he's with?
My friend Melanie. Her
Melanie.
son has autism. Her name is Melanie Gibb. I gave him all the information on the phone.
Okay, so he can call him.
Yeah.
Perfect. Discord.
Yeah. What is all this?
We're a little
What is
concerned
it? Why?
because, well, the officers who were here earlier
Yeah.
were checking, and they got a bad vibe that, like, something was going on here because nobody knew anything about a child. They weren't talking.
It's because a
What's
lot of
going
stuff
on?
that was going on. If you want to know, it's a lot of stuff. So
Well, that's why we're concerned, because it just was kind of weird.
it is very weird. I've had to move around a lot. One of my brothers is trying to kill me. Not the brother that lives here, obviously. He's kind of my protector. My other brother was in with my husband, who was trying to kill me for my $2 million life insurance policy.
Now,
So a lot of stuff has gone on in this last year. It's been a horrible year for us. I've had to move around. And so I was going to move back to Arizona, put my son back into the school there, because I tried to put him in school here at public school at Kennedy.
Okay.
He went for 2 months. We tried it, but he had such a hard time. Now, the person who called is my sister-in-law, but she's his natural grandmother. He's adopted by us. Okay, so her son, who is a drug addict, had a baby with a girl who's a drug addict, and they took him from, CPS took him, gave him to the grandmother. She came and got him, and then she wanted us to adopt him, which we did. And we loved
By
him and
us?
taking
Who are we
care.
talking
My
about?
husband and I, who died earlier this year.
Okay.
He passed away. Since he
Sorry to
passed
hear that.
away, she's been trying to fight me for him and being really horrible to me and that kind of stuff. She's kind of the paternal friend.
Okay, thank
Does
you.
that make sense?
That's
I'm
what I
sorry.
needed. The paternal grandmother.
He has autism and ADHD. He doesn't really talk to people. Like he's very special needs. So I had him in a special needs school there. She was trying to. So what happened was, my husband, who we were married for 15 years and had raised all these 5 kids together, switched his life insurance policy to her, right? To his sister, who got $1 million when he died, and we got nothing. For me to raise JJ, and all the kids got nothing, and everybody got nothing. She got $1 million. So I knew she was going to try to sue me for him, or
For JJ?
Yeah, because she now has this $1 million, so she can hire people to help him, and I have nothing.
But you have legal custody.
He's my son. I adopted him when he
Right.
was 2 years. We had him from the time he was 8 months old till 2 years old. So she does nothing that wants to cause me trouble. So I don't tell people the truth about where we are and what we're doing because of those reasons. So I look like a suspect, but I am not a good person. I've raised all of my kids. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do in life. But everyone is causing me trouble right now. So
We don't want to cause a lot of trouble. How long have you been here?
we've only been here since September.
Good.
Lori claimed to have moved the kids around for their own safety, so she was given a deadline to present the kids. In the middle of December, abruptly, Alex Cox would pass away in his sleep. Medical examiners would soon rule Alex's death due to natural causes.
911, where is your emergency?
Hi, I need an ambulance to. Yes.
Why do you need an ambulance?
I have a older male, a middle-aged male.
He is breathing?
Yes, he's breathing, but very, very highly breathing.
Okay, let me transfer you to Mesa, or the medics. Do not hang up. Is this due to a drug
Fire and
overdose
medical,
or
what is
anything?
the address of your emergency?
Go with it.
Caller, are you on the line? Hello, is
Hello?
anyone there?
Yes, this is. I'm here.
Okay, you're at for.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, what is the emergency?
I have a older male here named Alex. He's He just passed out here on my bathroom.
Okay, is he awake
Are you
right
breathing?
now?
I think he's passed out.
Okay, you think he's unconscious?
Yes.
Okay. Is he breathing normally, like you can see his chest rising and falling? Hello?
I hope so.
I have the paramedics on the way, but I need you to try to help me with some information while they're driving there to help him. Okay?
Okay.
How old is he?
He seems to be in his 40s.
Okay. Do you know him?
No, it's my mother's boyfriend.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay. I have the paramedics on the way, so he's in the restroom right now?
Correct.
Gilbert, can we get you started?
I'm already en route.
All right, thank you. Okay. Is he on his back or on his stomach? Where is he at?
He's on his side.
Okay. Can you lay him flat on his back on the ground?
I'll try. It's just there's feces there, and I'm trying to just keep cool right now.
You said he's what?
There's feces on the ground.
Okay. I know that's gross, but if we can just go ahead and get him flat on his back, I want to make sure he's
Right.
breathing, because if he's not, we're going to do a few things.
Gotcha.
Did you say he's cool, like cold?
Alex. Alex. Alex, we gotta get you on your back. Alex.
Does he seem more awake or more asleep?
He's more passed out.
Okay. Is he opening his eyes or moving at all?
He's breathing.
Okay. Is he breathing normally, like his chest is rising and falling? He's not making any weird sounds?
Yeah, he's making a very exhale sound like.
Okay. If he's doing that, we need to start CPR, so I need you to get him flat on his back on the ground.
Okay. I'll do that.
Let me know when he's flat on his back, and we're going to give you instructions, okay?
Okay. I don't think I could do that, man.
I know this is difficult, but you're only helping him, okay? I know, the
I
paramedics.
don't think I could
What
do
is
that.
your
I have
name?
anxiety and depression.
Okay, what's your
Anxiety
name?
and depression, I can't.
What is your name?
As this case is being investigated for over 2 years, more and more evidence pertaining to Alex has come to light.
My back was bugging me, and after the trip there in the car, and he said, he's like, I'll just give you a massage and just fix your back. I'm like, okay. So, but for some strange reason, this is really weird. Like, for some strange reason, at the time, of course, I didn't think anything about it, but now I'm like all creeped out about it. He said that we needed to find a Walmart because he wanted to buy this big, huge piece of plastic to put on the bed so the oil didn't get on the bed. But it was one of those ones that you put on the floor when you paint. Okay. And we went to Walmart and we got it, and he put it on the bed.
And this is when you were in Vegas?
When we were in Vegas, yeah. It was the day after we got married.
So you put it on the bed.
Yeah.
And he gave you the massage. What did he do with
the weirdest thing about it was that, and this is when it gets even weirder, because after that, I fell asleep. Okay, because I was so relaxed after the massage. I was so relaxed, fell asleep, and then I remember waking up. I was in and out, and I could hear him talking, and I was like, "Who's he talking to?" And I kept trying to wake up, and finally I made myself wake up, and I'm like, "Alex," I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" He's like, "Nobody. I was talking to myself." I'm like, "Okay." So then I remember I took a bath, and I said, let's watch a movie. And he was on his phone, I think playing his game or something, and he was super quiet. It was totally eerie for Alex, because Alex usually he was joking, and he would like, you would say something and he would find one way or another to make it into a joke and make it funny, and like he was always making you laugh and laughing at himself or making a joke about something, but he said nothing for the rest of the evening. Nothing.
Well, that's really weird that he had you lay on plastic.
So, maybe I'm just a little too crazy now because of all the stuff that's happened, but in my back of my mind, I keep thinking that who was on the phone was Chad and Lori, and that was supposed to be my last day, and he was supposed to.
And it very well could have been.
But when I would ask Alex a lot of questions about it and try to dig deeper, then it would turn into, well, we're just trying to get custody, and he would flip-flop around quite a bit on whether or not that abuse had actually taken place, whether they had any proof it had taken place, or if they were just playing games to try to help his sister get custody. But in that conversation, he told me that he wanted to bait Joseph Ryan into a fight so that he could kill him. And if I had really at that time thought he was serious, because he said it in a joking way, but it was still creepy and weird. Weird enough that I never spoke to Alex again. That was the last time I ever talked to him. I just thought, okay, jail has not been kind to him. He's off his rocker. I really don't want to have this guy in my life anymore.
Lori's deadline would soon approach, and after failing to present the kids, she was located in Hawaii and arrested, facing numerous charges. Lori was eventually extradited to Idaho, where she would be held for the time being. The search for the kids had commenced, and police began to search into Lori's friends and family members, where more and more information would surface on this case. On June 9th, 2020, police would warrant a search and seize on Chad Daybell's property. During the search, Chad would watch from a distance, making one last phone call to his wife, Lori, in prison.
Thank you for using silence. Hi, Dad.
Hello?
Are you okay?
So they're searching the property.
The house right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Anonymous. So Mark means will be talking to you.
Okay. Well, are they in the house?
No, they're out in the property.
Are they seizing stuff again?
They're searching. There's a search warrant, and so one of them just did on this with the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, so you tried to set up a chronological.
Yeah.
So you'll see what transpires.
Okay.
Yeah, don't.
What do you want me to do? Pray.
What?
What do you want me
Yeah,
to
pray.
do?
Pray. Yeah.
Okay. What can I do for you?
Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow would be discovered buried on Chad Daybell's property. Tylee had been severely burned and dismembered. JJ suffered a similar fate. They both were tightly wrapped in plastic and bounded in duct tape. They were buried next to what this case refers to as a pet cemetery. Chad would eventually get into his vehicle and try to drive away. Police would quickly follow him and arrest him for having human remains buried on his property. Lori and Chad are both held on $1 million bail. Special thanks to my channel members and Patreons.
This is where Tylee's body was found. It was back here.
Emma took us to her father's backyard to show us another reason why she believes her father wouldn't have buried JJ and Tylee here.
You can look around for miles and miles.
Their property is surrounded by plenty of places to hide a body.
There's land down there that no one would ever touch.
What do you say to those people who are still very skeptical with all of this?
It might seem like a convenient excuse, but if it's the truth, we have to hold to it.
Emma believes the children were put in her father's yard on purpose.
He was framed.
It all goes back to this woman, says Emma, her father's new wife, Lori Vallow Daybell.